Hi there, students. Slough and Slough. So, two different pronunciations with completely different meanings. Okay, let's look at Slough to start with. Rhymes with cow, now, how. So, firstly, Slough is a large town a little bit to the west of London. As in the poem by John Betjeman, "Come friendly bombs and fall on Slough, it isn't fit for humans now, there isn't grass to graze a cow." Okay, so Slough is a place. A slough is also a hole, maybe in the road or a place that you walk, that's filled with mud. So if you get into a slough, you're going to be completely covered in mud. Okay, this is the British idea of it. In the US, they also use this word slough to mean a channel that has water when it rains, that fills with water but then empties again, or a system of waterways. Now, you can also use a slough to talk about depression when you're depressed. So he was in a slough of despair. It's effectively talking about this hole filled with mud. Or you can also use a slough of moral degradation. So he became a drug addict and ended up in a slough of problems and difficulties. You can also use this word, a slough, to talk about a situation that doesn't get better. There's a lack of progress. The situation is bogged down. Again, we go back to this idea of this hole filled with mud. So the economy of the country is in a slough of inflation and unemployment. Okay, so the inflation is getting worse and there is no progress being made on the situation of the unemployment. So notice, this slough, a slough, it's a noun. Now, the question of formality with this meaning. I think this meaning is really quite unusual. If you use it to mean, with this depression, a slough of despair, a slough of despondency, a slough of inactivity, this is really quite a formal literary word. I would probably give it something like 7.5 in formality. So it's well up there. Yeah? I wouldn't use this in an informal conversation. I would use this for a formal document or for a formal writing or something much more literary. Yeah? Informally, how would I say a slough? A mire, a group of problems, a depression even in itself. Okay, so now let's look at to slough off. This is a verb. So when I hear this word slough off, the first thing I think of is a snake shedding its skin. Okay, you slough off skin. A snake sloughs its skin, so it gets rid of its old skin. It throws it off. Yeah. So we use this phrase, this verb, to slough off, meaning to get rid of something that is no longer required. to get rid of something undesirable, to cast off, to cast aside. So this country needs to slough off its old-fashioned ways and adapt to the new world. The balloon sloughed off all of the excess weight that it could find to keep floating in the air. Okay, so you might want to slough off your bad habits, to get rid of them. Okay, so to slough off our bad habits, to get rid of them, to cast them aside, the teenager had to learn to slough off his childish ways. Okay, this word comes from, or this meaning, slough, comes from a German origin, Slough, talking about the skin or the peel of something or the husk of something. Notice this word to slough off is also quite unusual. I think it's probably quite formal as well. Probably not as formal as slough, but to slough off, I think I'd probably give it something like a 7 in formality. It's an unusual word. Okay, so to slough off the skin, the snake's, a reptile, sloughs its skin. Okay, and notice, I think this word slough, I'm not sure where that one comes from, but someone will probably comment. Okay, notice as well, to slough off is a regular verb. He sloughed off. He has sloughed it off. So, let me just go over this again. A slough, a noun, a hole filled with mud. And from there you have the idea of depression, or a hole or a pit that you get into that you just can't get out of, moral degradation, or a situation that doesn't improve. Yeah, and a very formal word. And then slough, to get rid of, to shed, to lose unwanted baggage. We need to slough off our old ways. Again, a formal word, yeah, and a regular verb. Okay, and also remember Slough, the town to the west of London. So, there you go. I hope you got all of that one. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Slough and slough. Both pronunciations are valid.